is already suffering discrimination in some quarters as a result of the allegations that have been made against them, and they're sincerely worried about the civil military relations and how that could impact further operations or certain operations in future. Wouldn't it be detrimental if they set up a committee that favors just them? How would they make progress in those areas?
Basically, in my own thought, I would have believed that if the military actually wants to build that bridge between the civil society, between the public and them, they should set up a committee that involves the members of the public that have credibility and expertise in the focus area. They have to bring people. It doesn't need to be acting police officers. It could be ex-police officers. I'm happy to have army officers inside the team, but not for 7 of them, and not for the chairman and the secretary to be army officers. For me, it asks questions. In the UK, for example, if there's an issue of abuse of office in Scotland Police, obviously we have the IPCC, Independent Policing Complaints Commission, that looks into it. That is independent. And we had a situation whereby even the IPCC were questioned about their credibility of a certain investigation. It was taken off them and sent to the Metropolitan Police to go and investigate. That way, it's no longer Scotland Police, it's no longer IPCC, it came down to Met Police. You see different institutions showing credibility to find justice for the people influenced.
But it was still the police. So in this instance, since we're looking at it's Nigerian military, but do you think that perhaps if the Nigerian army had involved maybe other arms of the military, do you think this would be any better?
I think the Nigerian army should have involved the Nigerian police more into this. I don't like the scenario of always seemingly trying to, this is a school of thought idea, not my own personal idea, seemingly to push the Nigerian police on the side and taking the relevance when it comes to internal national security. That doesn't show a good example of our Nigerian police. And number 2, I still call upon the issue of United Nations to be involved in this.
Vince, I'm afraid I have to cut you there. We have to take a moment. Now, when we come back, we'll explore further whether or not, the police being involved in this would have made any difference. In just a moment, just stay with us. Vince Onyenkwelu is still with us here in the studio. He's a security consultant. Before we went on that break, you were telling us about why the Nigerian police should be involved in the panel, should be on board that particular panel. Some people might not agree with you. They will say for the Nigerian police has also been indicted for human rights abuses, also by the same body. Do you think that they will be, wouldn't they have an axe to grind and as such be biased again towards or against that report that had been issued before by Amnesty International?
Yeah, the idea of Nigerian police coming on board is not for them to cheer this particular committee. It's just for them to bring their expertise in this particular committee on an advisory role. That's why I said that the chairman or the secretary of this committee shouldn't be a Nigerian police officer or an army officer. It should be somebody independent, civil service organization with experience and expertise in forensics, compliance, corporate governance, or frontline services. Example, look at what happened during the London riots of 2011. I was still in frontline services then. Nobody was shot with live ammunition. Look at what happened in xenophobic attacks in South Africa lately. The army was not brought into that in any situation. Now in Nigeria, we don't want to be seen to be setting the cart before the horse. It's supposed to be the horse before the cart. So the bottom line is, look at the structure again. The people in that committee, to the best of my interest, are almost 90% northerners. This is about a national issue. It shouldn't be about a particular region of the country. Number 2, the people are almost from the same career, the army. We need to disintegrate that. We can have 1 or 2 in that committee, but not as a chairman or a secretary. And then we still need to know the background of those people individually in specifics. What is the background of Mr. A or Mr. B? So
do you think that this committee can be rejigged, or is that too late?
It's not too late. A lot of school of thought has called them a DOA. Delta Oscar Alpha, what we call dead on arrival, because of the structure and because of certain comments made lately by the Chief of Army Staff. But I'm not sure it's the end of it. I believe they can still restructure, bring in people with expertise from local, regional, and international experiences to come on board. Then create a portfolio that gives us a brief idea of the individuals behind this, their background, their experience, their track record, and then tell us even more how much are they getting paid. Because if the army are paying them, that could make them to be loyal to the person that pays the piper, dictates the tone. So there's a lot of gaps they need to be able to bring on board to give the people affected, the Shiites, the IPOP members, the MASOP members, to give them hope and confidence, and to make it an inclusive investigation. However, let's not forget one thing. If this is a purely army internal investigation, then we don't have to get involved in a purely internal military investigation. But the army should not try to force this into the general public for us to accept it. It becomes their private business, but not to force us to accept it as credible and as competent.
Okay, Vince, at this point, I must say thank you very much for coming on Sunrise Daily. We've been speaking with Vince Onyekwelu, who is a security consultant and also a former British police officer. Well, that will be it on Sunrise Daily from us here in Abuja. Thank you for watching. I'm Maokbe Ogun. It's back to you now in Lagos.
Well, yes, indeed. That's where we'll draw the curtains as well today on the show. Thank you all for watching. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
And I'm Gimba Umar. Thanks for watching.